Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment as the Tennessee Titans get it done. They defeat the Green Bay Packers 27-17. Sorry, I was unable to make a recap for Titans versus Broncos. Remember, I went to that game and things got a little wild at that game, and things got a little more wild after that game. And then the next day, actually, like for the next couple of days, I was busy. And then by Wednesday, I was like, okay, well, it's already on to Thursday. So I was like, well, it's too late now. My quick thoughts on that win, it went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. I had the Titans 16-13. They won 17-10. Defensive battle. Russell Wilson stinks. The Broncos stink. I wasn't worried about it. We got it done. We move on to tonight, where I tweeted, and I should have came on here and made a preview video because I would have looked so good, but I look good anyway. That I had the Titans winning this game, and I had the Titans winning this game 24-17. Look at on my Twitter at the MJ Take. And I had this for a couple reasons. The main reason was, although we only scored 17 points against the Broncos, I was fine with it because the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the NFL. While their record stinks, and oh, it does stink, they actually have one of the better defenses in the entire NFL. They've held their opponents 17 points or under in 8 of the 9 games. If the Broncos could score 18 points or more, they'd be 8-1. How about that for a statistic, Russell Wilson, as you cook? Or I don't know what you're cooking in Denver, but wow, if you only had 18 points or more, the Broncos would be 8-1, but they can't score, so they stink. So that doesn't surprise me at all. All right, I expected us to win, and we got it done. Now, in this game, I expected us to win. Now, I don't want to take credit away from us, but I expected us to win because the Packers, and this should be no surprise to anyone, are not good. Just like the Broncos were not good. Now, the Packers are slightly better, but only by 1 win. I mean, the Broncos were 3-6, 3-7 now after we beat them. The Packers are 4-6, 4-7 after we beat them. The Packers are marginally better than the Denver Broncos. Marginally. So I expected us to win this game just as we won the last game. But this game went even better than I expected for us, to be honest with you. And you know me. I'm Mr. Rational. I'm Mr. Calm Down. I'm Mr. Low Expectations. This whole season I've been saying it's going to be 9-8. It's going to be 10-7. And I'm sticking with this prediction. However, things have now gotten very, very, very interesting. And I'm actually fine putting my chips to the table and playing the next 2 hands here. Because we're playing with house money. This division is a wrap. And it's been a wrap, but oh my God, now it's so over. It's preposterous how over it is. At 7-3, this team, and the Colts, who do they face this week? Let me check who the Colts face. The Colts host the Eagles. They're going to lose this game unless the Eagles are just going to fall off of a cliff. And then I think the Jaguars are finally on a bye. But the Jaguars are so far off. What are they, 3-7? I mean, who cares? These teams are not winning 7 games. Forget about it. And we're not going to lose out because it's just not going to happen. So at 7-3 now, I still think we could go 9-8. I doubt it. I'm leaning more towards 10 now. So I'm feeling better. But now there is a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. Because now we saw today a passing offense in Tennessee. One that we have not seen for maybe we saw it for a blip last year. Maybe a blip. But really for 2 years. Really since 2020. Maybe for a game in 2021, a game or two like against the Colts. Okay, yeah. But this offense today got me a little intrigued. And we didn't even run it that well with Derrick Henry today. And now, we can have a litmus test in the next 2 weeks as we host the Cincinnati Bengals and we go to Philadelphia. If we win both of those games, Or at the very least, I'll say this. If we beat the Eagles, I don't think we have to win both. If we win both, then we're having a very good conversation. But if we beat the Eagles, I am now willing to entertain Super Bowl talk. I will entertain it. And I have not been willing to entertain it since we traded A.J. Brown. I have not been willing to entertain it. No, it's not going to happen. And I still think the path to get there is ridiculously difficult, and it's more likely than not that we'll fail. But at the same time, and I have the Chiefs going to and winning the Super Bowl. I've had this since the offseason. I just think no one can beat them. But what I will say is we're the one that's gotten the closest, although the Bills did beat them literally this year, but we got them to overtime. And the path for us would look like, and it's a wretched path. But now what are we? Now we're probably either the third seed or tied for the third seed. Let me see what the standings are right now. We are the third seed. We lose a tiebreaker to Miami as of right now. Again, I'm being a little optimistic here, but just roll with me. Let's say we could get the third seed and we hold on to this third seed. Very realistic scenario, although I don't think it would happen because I think the Dolphins and the Ravens will probably end up with a better record than us. But Ravens is going to be close. It's going to be close with the Ravens, but we'll see. And then you host. I think that still the Bills are going to win the division, most likely, but you might host either the Bills or Dolphins. And then I think personally the Bengals are still going to make the playoffs, but if we beat them next week, they're 5-5 and they're in trouble. So I would say probably either the Jets, and you'd love to host the Jets, even though I think the Jets are very frisky, and I like the Jets a lot. I just think that they're too young to win in the playoffs right now. Or the Chargers or Bengals or Patriots. I don't know if the Patriots are going to make it, but if they beat the Jets this week, they're 6-4. They have to be respected. First game wouldn't be too bad if it's as long as it's not Miami Buffalo. But if it's the Jets, if it's the Chargers, if it's the Patriots, I'm not that pressed about it. If it's the Bengals, I'm a little worried because if the Bengals made the playoffs, then they're probably kind of hot right now, and they're a threat. The second game would most likely be you facing the AFC East winner in the Dolphins or the Bills. Difficult. And then eventually you're going to have to face the Chiefs. Now, I just think it's improbable that you're going to win all three and get to the Super Bowl. And then whoever makes the Super Bowl, I don't think you would beat them. I just don't think this team would win 4 straight games in the playoffs. I just don't believe that to be the case. I think you could win. I think winning 1 would be great. I think winning 2 would be fantastic. We made the AFC Championship game. I think winning a 3rd would be ridiculous. I think winning a 4th would be better than marriage. I mean, literally, I'd be like, I don't need to get married for the rest of my life. Every woman can leave me alone. I don't care because I just saw the most improbable run, and I love it, and I don't need to get married because I can stay married to this memory forever. Leave me alone, woman. That's what I would say, literally. I'm single right now, by the way, so I'm allowed to say that. But I don't think that's going to happen. But if we beat the Bengals and the Eagles, we're in the running for. It's not going to be the number 1 seed. The Chiefs are going to be the number 1 seed. If you look at the schedule's way too easy, and they're the tiebreaker over us at this point. It's not going to happen. So you still have to win 3 games in the AFC to get out of the AFC. And I just don't think, even if we end up being the second best team in the AFC, I just think winning 3 games in the AFC is too difficult for us. I just think it's too difficult for us this year. If it was the team we had last year with an A.J. Brown on it, I think I'm sitting here saying something probably different. I probably have us making the Super Bowl right now. And I don't want to harp on that A.J. Brown thing because, I know there's a whole deal going on with that because, he was talking trash because our wide receivers couldn't get open against the Chiefs, and then he couldn't get open against the Commanders. And, he's been going back and forth on Twitter, and people and the fans have been, having a conversation about that. So, if A.J. Brown was on this team, would I feel much more comfortable picking us to have a 49er, Jimmy Garoppolo-esque run to the Super Bowl? I would. I 100% would. 7 of our last 8 games. And again, I'm talking about if we beat the Bengals and if you beat the Eagles. Or just the Eagles, really. That's the real litmus test to me. If we beat the Bengals and lose to the Eagles, I still feel good. I want one of the next two. Let me just say, I want one of the next two. If we get both of the next two, we're having serious conversation. But it's still just like, okay, we have a real shot here. If we win one, it's like, okay, we could be very frisky. If we win neither of them, it's like, okay, we're still what I think we are. We're gonna go and we're probably gonna lose the first game to the AFC East loser, and that's probably going to be it. Maybe we beat them, but then we'll face our fate in the second game against the Ravens, against the Bills, against the whoever, against the Chiefs potentially. So that's what I believe. But there is a shot. Okay, 7 of our last 8, and our offense showed signs. There is a shot. I'm slightly more optimistic now than I've been throughout the season. I'll actually argue I'm just as optimistic as I was preseason. I think I've been very realistic when it comes to this team throughout the offseason. I think they may end up with 11 wins. Maybe we shouldn't do the schedule right now, but I'm so eager. I just want to talk about the schedule. Don't you just want to talk about the schedule? We'll talk about the game. Let's talk about the schedule. Let's talk about the playoffs. It's so fun. So just if I had to look, let's just peek at it, then we'll get to the game. But let's peek at it. I love to peek at the schedule. I love to project. So if you look at the schedule, again, Bengals, Eagles, let's say we split, okay? Then you got the Jags. That's a W at home. It better be. At the Chargers. Chargers are very inconsistent. That's a very winnable game versus the Texans, versus the Cowboys. And I think the Cowboys would beat us because I think they're going to be more desperate than us in that circumstance. But I could be wrong. But I think that one, I mean, let's not go crazy here, people. I mean, you could easily come on here and say win with every team except for the Eagles if you want to. I'm not going to do that. I know people are going to do that. I know people are going to literally look at our schedule right now and say 13-4. I know people are going to do that. If we were the Chiefs, I would do that. If we were the Kansas City Chiefs right now, if the Chiefs had this remaining schedule, I'd say they're probably going to go 13-4. But we're not the Chiefs. We don't have Mahomes at quarterback. Although Tannehill played well today, and we're getting into that. So it feels like 11-6. That's what it really feels like. Depending if we want to win the last game or not. That's what it feels like. I will warn you that by week 18, the Jaguars will be better, and they will be playing for something. And this feels like a year where they're going to beat us because we could sweep our division. It's very rare that happens in this league, even for the very best of teams, that you sweep your division. That doesn't happen. You can bet on it. The Eagles, Eagles fans were talking about we're going to go 6-0 in the NFC East. We're 8-0. We're about to go 6-0 in the AFC and NFC East. And then they lose to the Commanders on Monday night. So I'm not going to play that game. Although we absolutely should sweep the Jaguars and the Texans in theory. 100% in theory. That's not what happens in the NFL. So I'm still thinking that one of those is an L. I think we lose one of the next two, maybe probably both. And I still say 10-7. I think 10-7 is fair. I think it's fair. It could be 11-6 easily. 9-8 seems less probable. It still could be. It still could be because the next two games could be L's. You choke one against the Jags. That's what's now 6 losses. You lose to the Cowboys, a tough game. And then you lose to the Chargers, a tough game. I don't think we're going to lose that many. That's a lot of games. I mean, that's us going 2-5. Yeah, I don't think we're going to go 2-5 in our last 7 games. If we do, Jesus Christ, just leave us out of the playoffs. I mean, we're just going to get hammered by Miami or Buffalo. So it really should be. It really should be at least 10-7. Because 2-5, that would just be ridiculous. 2-5. My math is right on that. My math is right on that. So, okay, enough schedule. I'm sure we're going to return to the schedule because I know everyone has comments about that schedule. Again, add me in the chat if you have any comments for me at Sports for Entertainment. Super Chats always goes first. So let's get to the game, and then we'll get back to the schedule and the playoffs because I'm just so eager. I want to talk about those things. Let's begin with Ryan Tannehill. Okay, Ryan Tannehill played well. He's back to old Ryan Tannehill form 2020. Tannehill form, I'd say 2020, not 2021. This was his best performance, I believe, since 2020. I'm probably forgetting a game or two that he had last year that was also similar to this, but by and large, I mean, like his Colts game last year was quite good, like in October. But by and large, I mean, he played really well. Oh, and he had the 4 touchdown game in week 17 or week 18 against the Texans, which was really good as well. Don't want to forget about that one. But I mean, you're talking about tonight. Tannehill, 22 of 27, 333 yards. I mean, and really, there are only 2 plays that really annoyed me with him. One was the interception where he just didn't see the cornerback. I think he had to see the cornerback was Rasul Douglas going back into coverage in that situation. And then the second was a very minor play that you probably didn't even notice, but it was right before we got the Derrick Henry touchdown. On 2nd and 3, he didn't see the check down. He just threw it into the end zone away. And I was like, dude, Dontrell Hilliard was literally on your left for 1st down. And then the next play, he finds Treylon Burks literally to his left for a 1st down. The Packers, I don't know what type of covers they're running in the red zone there. If we would have passed more in the red zone, we would have had more touchdowns tonight because they moved their linebackers way back on these 2nd and short, 3rd and short situations. All you had to do was hit Treylon Burks, crossing route, Dontrell Hilliard in the check down, Dontrell Hilliard on the halfback wheel. Their linebackers are terrible in coverage. They need to figure that out. So Tannehill played very well. One of his best. The interception was terrible. He's going to give you one every now and then, but he played well. You have to give him that. And he's playing for his job next year. And again, and I'm not going to harp on this. We don't need to go on this, especially tonight because he didn't play. And it's a good thing I didn't come on here Sunday because I was going to make fun of Malik Willis a little bit after the fumble that he had. Don't put him on the field. I'm just going to say that. I'm tired of seeing him on the field because obviously when he goes on the field, things go wrong. So I don't want to see him on the field. I know we could use his athletic ability for some plays. I don't care. We were fumbling too much on those plays until you figure it out in practice. I don't want to see Malik Willis packages. I just don't. I'm good. Use athletes elsewhere. Okay? And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to see Malik Willis play for the next year, at least. My God. Okay, so with that said, Treylon Burks. Coming out party for Treylon Burks to a certain extent. Now, I don't want to go overboard here. The stat line people will go overboard because he broke 100 yards. Now, he did have the last reception, which was 51 yards, I want to say. And it was a very nice catch. Don't get me wrong. Now it was garbage time, like literal absolute garbage time. The one play before the 2-minute warning that would lead to garbage time, and they weren't expecting it. Now, that doesn't mean that it wasn't a good catch and that it doesn't count. Obviously, it counts. I'm just saying it's a little fluffed because just a little bit. Now, with that said, it's still an A performance. I'm just saying it's not an A+. People will look at the stat line and say, oh, what's an A+? It's an A. To get the plus, you have to do something extra. I don't think that was extra. It was good. It was very good, and he beat one of the best cornerbacks in the league on it. Okay, so it was very good. I don't want to take too much away from it. But the point is, he played well, 7 receptions on 8 targets for 111 yards. And what was the one target that he didn't get? I can't remember right now, but I don't think it was a drop. I'd remember that. So, I mean, what more do you want? An A performance from Treylon Burks. Now you're intrigued. Can he do some more of this in the upcoming weeks and months? Now, what I will say, though, so what I liked about it was, look, he can run routes. He can run routes. He's getting past the cornerbacks on these deep routes, which God knows we need. And he's not that fast of a guy, but the good thing is he's strong. So when he puts on pads, he doesn't lose that much speed. Some people, you put pads on them, like they may run a 4.3, 4.4. You put pads on them, now they're running a 4.6. Some guys are running a 4.5. You put pads on them, they're still running a 4.5. So he's just one of those guys. So I like that. He doesn't lose much speed when you put the pads on. he's able to get open deep. They were doing this in training camp all off season long, so it's nice to see that it's translating to the game. Tannehill trusts him to come down with these, so you have to love that. I want to see him break a tackle. He's yet to break a tackle. From what I don't think he's gotten one today, and I don't remember one this entire season. He doesn't break tackles. So I need to see more of that because that was supposed to be one of his strengths coming out of college. And without that, it limits him as a number one potentially. And we all want him to be a number one. I don't know what he is yet. I don't know. Don't ask me if he's a number one or number two. I've said that I want another first round wide receiver next year. We'll talk about that in the offseason because we have to address some things. But I wouldn't be opposed to it because, hey, that wide receiver you took, he could end up being a number one too, then good. You have two number ones. You're the Miami Dolphins with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. What's wrong with that? I don't have a problem with that. I don't have any problem with it. And they're on rookie contracts. Since when is that a bad thing? And if there are two number twos, okay, well, at least we have two number twos. Then maybe that makes for a number one. I don't know, but you just keep throwing talent in there until you figure it out. To me, that's what you do. Yeah, he played well. He played really well. He keeps coming down with these deep balls. And even the ones that he hasn't come down with, he's been able to get close. He's been very close with, and I think he even got a pass interference this year. He definitely did draw one. So a lot of things that I think you have to like when it comes to Treylon Burks and his performance, without a doubt, Treylon Burks. Robert Woods, he played well. Now, this is what I expected from Robert Woods. This is what I expected. When people expected him to come in here and be a number one, what are you guys talking about? Now, can he catch a nice little comeback, crossing route, post, 100%, run that with him, get some first downs, move the chains? He's a pretty reliable pass catcher. That's what you use him for. Don't use him on punt returns. I can't believe we even did that once. It's so ridiculous. He's 30 years old. And he was never a burner. I don't know what the hell you were thinking there. But he played well, 7 targets. The play action game was working more than it should have, by the way, because Derrick Henry, again, he only averaged 3.1 yards a carry, but they were selling out for the run, and we were able to hit on play action, and that's our offense, and I'm fine with that offense. The New England Patriots have won Super Bowls off this sort of offense. You know, if they fear your run game even a little bit and you get that play action, you'll be surprised what you can do, and the Buccaneers are doing that again now, and that's where they're having success running with Rashad White and Leonard Fournette. So, like what I saw there, Austin Hooper. Okay, I'm not going to say Austin Who today because he played well. The touchdown that he held on to showed great hands today. Now, I still think he's a below average tight end, and you're not going to convince me any different. Sorry. But he played fine. And he's fine. And if he wants to return next year on a 1-year, $3 million deal, I'm fine with that. But I want to see more of Chig Okonkwo, okay? Chigozim Okonkwo. I want to see more of this guy. Every time we get this guy the ball, you saw the 40-yarder in the Broncos game. Today, one catch for 31 yards, and it was a beautiful catch. This guy can make plays. Now, he can't block, which is unfortunate. Or he's not a very good blocker. Let me say that. Let him improve. Get Jeff Swaim and him in the weight room and get to work. Delaney Walker's retired. Delaney Walker, go work out with this guy. Let's get him bulked up. Let's teach him how to block. Get Delaney as a tight end coach. I'd be down. Maybe he's down. Hell, he's around. He's around all the time, it seems like. Maybe he's down to be a tight end coach. I'd be down. Or maybe start him as an assistant. But I'd be down still. So Chico Okonkwo, like next year for me, that's the goal. I don't know if that's their goal. I don't know. And you guys think I'm always low on rookies. Well, guess what? I'm high on one here. I'm seeing flashes. See, I never saw a flash from Darrington Evans. Never saw nothing. Never saw anything. Never saw a flash. Nothing, nada. Why am I going to be excited about Darrington Evans? Not currently seeing flashes from Hassan Haskins because we don't run him. So why am I going to be excited about him? Chigo Okonkwo, when we throw to him, he does things. So this is exciting. Let's get him the ball. Let's see what he can do. And real quick, because I don't want to miss some of these super chats as they come in. So let me address them also as they come in. Actually, I think I have some more time. Yeah, I have some more time. I'll get to your super chats in a moment. I'll just continue with the game recap for right now. But Every time we throw him the ball, he makes plays. So continue to throw him the ball and let him keep making plays. So I'm intrigued. That's my goal. I want him to be the starting tight end next year. And then I want to have him for 3 years as a starting tight end and see, hopefully, if he's good, and to see that, and hopefully that tight end position's locked up. And you don't have to have conversations about, drafting Michael Mayer in the first round, although I don't think we're even going to be in range for him. I think he's going to go mid-first round. But yeah, I want to see more of Chigo Okonkwo. Every time we throw him the ball, he does things. So more Chigo Okonkwo for me. But Austin Hooper, I appreciate what you did, dog. Derrick Henry. So I'm not going to blame Derrick Henry today, although I don't think there are a couple of times I do think he could have bounced to that side, but I thought our play calling today in the run game was absolutely piss poor. And I'm not kidding. I get what we were trying to do. It was just stupid. When Ben Jones is out at center, who has been probably our best offensive lineman for the past 2 years, why are you going to continue to run the ball inside? That doesn't make sense to me. Now, I know you don't trust Dennis Taylor on the left side. Okay. Nicholas Petit-Frere on the right side. He's been playing pretty well. But you have to do that. You can't keep running interior. And on the possession, this was when we were up. Were we up 7? Or it was 7-6. And we had the potential and the possibility to go ahead 14-6. And on this possession, on 4th and inches, we do Derrick Henry direct snap, this trickeration play where Tannehill acts like he's trying to get the play call from the outside, direct snap to Derrick Henry, and then Derrick Henry zooms in and barely gets the first down. And then throughout this entire drive, we're getting first downs, but barely, and a lot of inside runs. We go all the way to the goal line, inside run. And then 4th and goal. And actually, I'm not sure if it was 4th and goal. I think it was 4th and inches, but it was, at like the 6-yard line. But yeah, it was like at the 6-yard line. And you run inside again? It was unbelievable to me. It was absolutely outrageous and preposterous to me. It was absolutely ridiculous. Maybe it wasn't the 6. Maybe it was even closer to 6. Let me look at the play-by-play again. But how do you run the ball again there? I mean, it just blew my mind. How do you run in? It was at the 4. How do you run inside again there on 4th and inches? You don't think they're going to predict that? Did you look at the scouting report? Did you look at the depth chart? Did you scout this team at all? Kenny Clark is one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. Preston Smith is one of the best outside linebackers in the league. The Green Bay Packers, one of their strengths, literally their strength to me, outside of Jared Alexander, I don't love their secondary, but their front 4 is pretty damn good, and they've been putting their front 4, their best front 4 out there the whole night, attempting to stop Derrick Henry from running inside. Why do you keep running Derrick Henry inside? Why do you continue to do this? Now, it ended up working out because it ended up getting us some play action. I'll grant that. But on that red zone attempt, you can't run Derrick Henry inside there. If they would have gave him an outside handoff and it didn't work, I would have said fine. You couldn't run inside again there. Now, I would have passed it, and people would have been upset probably. But I would have done a trickeration play or a play action play, bootleg or something. That's what I would have called personally. But you can't run Derrick Henry inside there. And I thought at that point, well, we're letting them back in the game. Now, luckily, we got the ball right back. We went down the field, touchdown, 14-6. And then, the Packers were able to hang around. We went to the end of the half. Packers got a field goal. And then we ended up getting a touchdown. Nice situation play. Nice throw by Derrick Henry. Man, this guy can do it all, man. Derrick Henry's an absolute stud, absolute beast. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely preposterous. But, yeah, I mean, Todd Downing, I don't care we put up 27 points today. He still stinks. He still stinks. The play action worked. Okay, I'll grant that. But I can't believe that play call. That play call to run Derrick Henry inside there. That's the stuff that's gonna haunt you, and that's the stuff that's gonna beat you down the road. So stuff like that, man, that I just look at and I just anticipate in the playoffs, and I'm just like, I don't want to see this trash in the playoffs. I'm just not trying to see it. So outside of that, I mean, let's talk about the defense. So defensively, Jeffrey Simmons was obviously hurt today. Obviously, Hamper did not have a big impact until the very last sack that he had and the very last run stuff that he had. I'll still say it though, big Jeff Simmons, because he still got the sack and he still adds to his sack total. There's no way, unless if he completely falls off this season, he's now 6.5 sacks. There's no way he doesn't make the Pro Bowl this year, and he should be an All-Pro. And we'll see if they give him that the recommendation there. And we're going to discuss his contract at length in this offseason because he's not going to be extended before that. You know, everyone keeps talking about whether or not he deserves to be paid more than Aaron Donald. We're going to discuss that. What I will say is this. Is he better than Aaron Donald? In my opinion, today, no. Now, Aaron Donald's getting older. Hell, he probably is going to retire. He's talking about retiring. And then after he does, is he going to be the best interior defensive lineman in the NFL? He's going to be one of the top two. It's going to be him and Chris Jones. So you got to pay him. And you just let A.J. Brown go, who was the most talented player we've had next to Derrick Henry in the last 5 years. Who's number 2? Jeffrey Simmons. And I could argue that Jeffrey Simmons is better than A.J. Brown. In fact, I might make that argument. I might. So you are going to let go of 2 of your 3 best players of the last 5 years, and I could even argue of the last, and hell, I am going to argue because it's true, of the last decade. Actually, literally for the last decade. It's actually, I'm not even kidding. Because I think even Jarrell Casey isn't as good as Jeffrey Simmons or A.J. Brown. That's very debatable. But we could have that debate another day. But you're going to let go of 2 of the 3 of your most impactful players of the last decade? You can't do that. That's just preposterous. That's just ridiculous. And I just can't believe that we'd be so stupid to do it. I just don't believe that. I could be wrong. I just don't believe that. But we'll see. We'll discuss that more as it comes down the road. Roger McCreary had some struggles. Let Alan Lazard get a couple on it, but nothing too bad. I thought he played fine. So I'm fine with Roger McCreary tonight. I know some people are going to criticize him. I played fine. As a rookie corner, you're allowed to have some bad games. This definitely is not a very good one. But he wasn't awful. And I don't think he was responsible for... Was he? No, he wasn't responsible for the last touchdown. The first touchdown, that was to... Yeah, that was Watson. That was over Christian Fulton. So he wasn't responsible for either touchdown. So, yeah, I think McCreary was fine. Although he could have got a defensive pass interference on one, but luckily they didn't call it on Alan Lazard. David Long. This guy continues to play very well, and I'm pretty sure he's in a contract year. So that's going to be a very interesting negotiation. I would like to have him back. That's something that I would like, and I would prioritize him over Zach Cunningham. Zach Cunningham has not been in the system. David Long has been in the system. David Long is a mainstay in the system. If you have to make a decision, one or the other. And Zach Cunningham is still under contract for a long-term deal, but let me look it up right now. I'm sure it has pretty much no, if any, dead cap hit next season because it is a number of years into the contract. Yep, only $4.5 million in dead cap next season. So you can easily cut Zach Cunningham. In fact, you probably should because his cap hit, it's $13 million. So you're going to save about $8.8 million, $8.75. If you cut David Cunningham, so cut David Cunningham. And then give that money to David Long. And I still think he's not known enough to where you can pay him that every year and get away with it. I don't know if many teams are going to pay him $10 million a year right now. So I think you can offer him that and he'd resign, I think. Could be wrong on that, but I think. So I want him back. And I know there's a lot of people that we want back, but I that's someone that I think should be prioritized and that we should want back. Let's see, who else do we have that's upcoming free agents that we're worried about? Ben Jones is one. Why is he not on this list? I know he's definitely on this, or he should be on this list. It's interesting. They need to update this. Anyway, all right, so let's continue. Um, Outside of that, defensively, not really much to discuss. So Fulton got hurt. Teilhard Tart got hurt. The injuries continue to pile up. Luckily, we have 10 days off after this game. We can recuperate. We can recover. We can get healthier. God knows that that's what this team needs to do right now. Someone in the chat says Monty Rice didn't do too bad. I'm going to have to go back and watch the tape. Dylan Cole played well, by the way, as well. I really like this Dylan Cole inside as well. I'm fine with David Long and Dylan Cole moving forward. I think it's cheap. I think it's smart. I'm fine with it. And then Monty Rice can get involved. And if he ends up winning the job over Dylan Cole, cool. I have no problem with no qualms with that. Wasn't Ben Jones not a free agent? Let me check Ben Jones' contract. I'm wondering why they're saying that Ben Jones 2024. Wow, I could have swore it was 2023. Oh, good. When do we extend him and I missed it? Oh, we extended him in March. Oh, I'll be damned. I missed that. Okay, good. Good. That's one less thing to worry about. Yeah, I think David Long needs to be resigned. I think that's a free agent that needs to be resigned and needs to be prioritized. Also, by the way, Dontrell Hilliard. Wow, this guy continues to catch passing touchdowns. What the hell is up with this guy? I don't know, but he continues to play well. Gotta love the play that you continue to see from Dontrell Hilliard, who continues to show up in the receiving game. Not something that I thought, or I think any of us would have said, but that is something that we are definitely saying now. Yeah, our free agent list is not bad. It was Nate Davis. Nate Davis is the one free agent that I'm kind of worried about re-signing and how much he might cost. He's also luckily not a big name, though, so I think he can go under the radar and get away with him. So, with that said, good win. I mean, this was a good win. We contained Aaron Rodgers. You know, I looked at this game, preseason. I said we were going to lose just because I hate playing in Lambeau. But just look at the Packers this season. They're a bad team. I saw the Jets and the Giants dominate this team, the Jets specifically. And knowing that we're built from the same cloth as both of those teams, I saw no reason to think that we weren't going to win this game. Aaron Rodgers is a shell of himself. He's disinterested. People are talking about Brady needs to retire. I think Aaron Rodgers needs to retire. Maybe he has one more year left, but with a different franchise, I think he should not come back with this team. And he has a lot of different interests, like going on Pat McAfee and Joe Rogan and smoking ayahuasca anyway. So let him do that. He has his yearly girlfriend. Every year he has a new girlfriend. Let him go do that. Let him go do that. I think that's what he wants to do. I don't think he's particularly interested in football anymore. But I think he's going to do one more year, just like a hell of an attempt, and then see what he can do somewhere else, I think. But we're going to find out. I just hope that, I don't really care. I'm not a Packer fan. That this relationship isn't too severed, and that, because he's always going to be a Packers great. But I'd hate to see his relationship with the franchise be soured after this season if they have to move on. And him never being able to be around. I don't think that's going to be the case. It's very rarely the case. Usually these players get over it, but I don't know. I think it's going to be an ugly end for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. With that said, we're going to move on to the comments. We're going to move on to the super chats first. And our super chats always go first. I'm in the chat at Sports for Entertainment if you want your comment read, because I always see the highlighted comments at Sports Fan Entertainment in the chat. Super chat from Daz Rinko. Daz Rinko, who says, please stop never making Titans videos, my brother. I will never. Okay, while I might miss the occasional game here or game there, I'm not going anywhere. Now, but it might depend on what platform it is, because God knows if YouTube is still going to be around, because social media this day is going crazy. But in terms of making Titans videos, nah, B, that's not going to happen. And I tell whoever I'm dating, whoever I'm friends with, I tell them no matter what, I don't give a damn. I'm still gonna make Titans videos. I'm still gonna watch the vast majority of the game, at least 75% of the game. If I every game, if I probably every game. I have not missed a game. Last year I had to miss one, but I have not missed more than one game in like, oh God, 7 years, 7+ years. Not gonna happen. Don't you hate it when people schedule Sunday weddings? Well, I'm not going if there's a Titans game on, or I'm gonna watch it on my phone or something. So forget about it. Don't worry, I'm never gonna stop making Titans videos. I've started, and now there's no way I'm gonna stop. Thank you for the super chat, Daz Rinko. You have tightened up. The MJ, the play calling just different today. I don't know if that's the case. I can say it's slightly better. The only I don't know if that's the case. I think we just had Tannehill back more at full strength than Traylon Burks out there. But outside of that, I mean, Downing still did dumb things, running inside, running inside, running inside, running inside, running inside, running inside, running inside. The Henry play was nice, and then we had some nice play action plays, and then Tannehill made some nice throws. Had one of the best games of his career, accuracy wise. I don't know if that's the case, and I don't think a lot of people think that's the case in the chat. I don't know what you guys think in the chat. By the way, am I able to make a poll? Yes, I've never made a poll, but let me make a poll. All right, poll. Do you think the play calling was improved today? And let's see what people have to say regarding that. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case, my friend. For the Titans. Again, I like the trick play to Henry. I like that. But I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's the case. And how do I send this? I don't know. Yes, no. There we go. Ask your community. Cool. All right, so there's a poll in the chat. I gotta start doing polls. That's something I definitely should be doing. And then can I? Yeah, let me close that. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's the case, but we'll see what people say, and then we'll get back to that. Thank you for that super chat, though. Tighten up. You're always very loyal with those. Tighten up. All right, let me scroll back to the earlier comments. We have Robert Bernard, who says, "Let's go. Sports for entertainment. Let's go. Traylon Burks might be okay." And again, I never gave any opinion on Traylon Burks. I never said whether he's good or he's bad. I said I like the tape. Maybe he's gonna translate. Maybe he won't. But I'm telling you this: rookie season, don't expect more than 5, 6, 700 yards. Because that's what we get. And then after that, we'll see. And then maybe he improves and maybe he does. I'm always, dude. I love what I didn't love. No, I loved Dorial Green Beckham. Rookie season, I absolutely loved. He only gave us like 500. Loved him. Thought he was an absolute superstar. Didn't know how much of an idiot he was. And then, my God, we learned how much of an idiot he was. Loved Justin Hunter. Thought he was going to be an absolute stud. Now he's a second rounder. But although so was Green Beckham, I think. But he had first round talent. Everybody knew that. Wait, where was Dorial drafted? He wasn't even. Yeah, he must have been second round. Yeah, he was second round. But I loved Justin Hunter. Thought he was going to be absolute stud, and he's someone that did have his head on right. But man, I just think when he just got injuries piled on, he just lost confidence because the guy showed stuff at Tennessee, man. And also, he was a little skinny. Yeah, he was a little skinny. Devontae Smith is skinny now. I don't know. Justin Hunter never makes sense to me. Kenny Wright couldn't stay in shape. Man, we have bad luck with these wide receivers. Kenny Britt didn't give a damn. So Ty's wide receiver had bad history. But hey, you're right. Traylon Burks might be something. All right. Still scrolling through the comments. All right. Adam Euster Wayman. Euster Wyman, I should probably say, says, as for Tim, going to the Bengals game, what's your prediction for it? Let me see how the Bengals look this week. They're facing, who are they facing? The Bengals at Pittsburgh. I think they might lose that game. I want to see how they look. They're without Jamar Chase. They're a little limited. Now, I know Joe Mixon went off against the Panthers, but they're limited. And I want to see how their offense continues to look. They might lose that game. And that's very important for us, too, by the way, because without Jamar Chase, oh, God, if Christian Fulton can just get back healthy. I know T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are very good. And Joe Mixon's a threat, but I think we could slow them down and score some points against their defense. I like our odds against the Bengals. I really do. I think the Eagles are going to give us problems, but that's what I'm talking about. Dude, those games are winnable. I would not be up here talking about those games being very winnable. And again, I didn't think we were going to compete against the Chiefs. This team is better than even I thought. I'll even admit that. I thought mid-season. Preseason, I thought this is about what maybe a little bit. I can even concede that with this performance, I think maybe I get ahead of myself a little bit. Because we did just go through only a 7-point win against the Broncos, and the Broncos suck. Although the Broncos have been holding everyone to that kind of score. So I guess it's fine. But, I mean, I don't know. It depends. The thing is, there's no dominant teams anyway. So it depends how you want to define what a good team is. Okay, so the Vikings keep winning close games, right? So if you're buying us, you're buying them. Are you buying them? So if you're buying us, you better be saying that the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl then. You better be saying that. If you're saying that it doesn't matter that you have to look dominant, you just have to win games, well, you better be saying that about the Vikings, and you better have the Vikings going to the Super Bowl then. Because if you don't, then you don't believe that. Now you just believe it because it's us. But the humiliating loss of the Buffalo Bills still reigns over my head. And it was no good. So that's why I still have hesitancy. And I want to see how the season plays out. But I'd be surprised if it's not at least 10-7. Because 2-5, there's 2 wins against the Jaguars right there. Jaguars and Texans. You'll win one of both. And then maybe you lose against the Jaguars because you just choked. And I think we'll beat the Bengals. I think we might lose that Eagles. I think we might lose that Chargers. I think the Cowboys will sneak up and beat us, and then we might not show up against the Jags. But it should be. A lot of y'all are gonna say 11-6, and I won't blame you. I should probably have the balls to sit up here and say 11-6. I won't though, because I said 10-7, and I'm gonna stick to my prediction. I'm not gonna back out my prediction quite yet. You have to do a little better than that. But for right now, I want to see if the Bengals lose against the Steelers. It doesn't really matter, I know, but it does matter to me because then they're going to be very desperate against us, and I don't like teams to be desperate. They're going to be very desperate. I want to see how they look this week. So stick around. I'll make my prediction before, but for right now, I'll say that I have us winning. I'll say that for right now. I have us winning for right now, but let me see how they look this week. It's very important. All right. There's a Jets fan that was having fun in the chat. Lil Dale said, MJ, you said earlier in the season that we win 8 to 9 games, and you changed it to 9. Now you're probably saying 11. Pick a struggle. Well, first of all, I always go by my preseason prediction. My preseason prediction was 9-8. But I always say, it's always going to be a range. I say 9-8 to 10-7. And then as the season goes on, teams get injured, and then the projection changes. Now, stick me to my prediction, but this is what I'm projecting. All right, this is what based on wins and losses, how the schedule's looking, how teams that perform better or worse from what I've seen, how things change. Either the Packers are going to be a playoff team, and this is going to be a loss today. Turns out they're worse than I thought. That's a win that I think we're going to get. I still think we're the same quality team. I don't think we're necessarily that much better than I thought heading into the season, but the Packers are much worse. So now this is a win for us as opposed to this being a potential loss for us. The Bengals are a worse team than I thought. I thought they're going to be a 12-win team easily this year looking at their schedule. They're a worse team. That game looks a lot more winnable. So that's why my projections might change. But I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and just blatantly say like, "Oh, we're gonna go 2-5 down the stretch." When I look at the schedule and say that's not the case, like it's just not gonna happen. So I'm always gonna adjust. But you can always hold me to my preseason or whatever I say before the season. That's totally fine. For Traylon to put up this performance at Lambeau on primetime TV in late November because of 2 number one, you're kind of downplaying it. Well, he wasn't playing against J. Alexander in the whole game. That's not the case. On the first play, first deep ball, I don't think that was Alexander. Second one, it was. But I think that was the only other play Jair was covering him. Maybe another one, but all the other stuff was underneath. It was 2 big plays, a 40-yarder and a 50-yarder. That's 90 yards. So right there, 2 plays got him 90 yards. 2 plays. Okay? And then with the other 5 receptions, he got 20 yards. So I'm not going to go crazy over 2 plays. There are 2 great plays. There are 2 plays. That's his entire performance. That's 90 out of 111 yards. That's 85% of his performance was off of 2 plays. Great 2 plays. Still 2 plays. So that's why I'm not going to freak out about it, but it was a good performance. I'm not saying it wasn't a good performance. I gave him an A. I gave him an A+. All right, Z Starn says, can you explain what was up with the plays where the Titans would run down the field a bit, then get the ball? Feels weird to see. I didn't know what was happening. Where the Titans player would run down the field a bit, then get the ball. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Talking about like a screen or a slant or I don't know. I'm not sure what you're referring to. You can be a little more specific with that. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay. So with that said, yeah, any more comments at me in the chat at Sports Fan Entertainment. And let me check on that first Treylon Burks play. I don't think that was Jair. Yeah. So the first play was against, I'm not even sure who that was. 25 for the Packers, who used to be a king. I'm not sure who it is now. But the first big catch was not against, was not against J.R. Alexander. It wasn't. And now you challenge me, so we're gonna call out that performance. If you really want to have a discussion about the performance, you're gonna have a discussion about the performance. So the first one was not against J.R. Alexander. I got him 43 yards. Okay, 43 yards. Then the second one was against J.R. Alexander. I got him 51 yards. So 43 and 51. That's 94 yards. 94 yards off of 2 catches. Now, it's a great 2 catches. I want to be very clear. I'm yelling. I'm going to get evicted. Those are 2 great catches. For 5 more catches, he had 17 yards. Okay? So it's an A performance. For a rookie, it's a great performance. But you can't look at that and then say, well, now it's figured out. There's 2 great plays. 2 great plays. Look, we've seen Kenny Britt have 250 yards and 3 touchdowns off of like 4 or 5 great plays. And then he flamed out. So, you have to be a little subdued. But he was and then the J. Alexander was great. Caught him off guard. But, again. Anyway. So, let's continue. All right. All the way down to the bottom. Trilogy Taylor says, do you think Burks could be leading the next 2-3 years, and will we keep him if he is? Again, it's very possible. Again, he's showing me good traits. I gotta see more because again, I liked what I saw today. Just got to see more. Just need more data. Just need more reps, getting more reps. But I like the fact that when we get him in there, it presents the defense more problems. It enlivens our offense, and it definitely has a spark to our offense. So I definitely like that. TGI Jeff, Tannehill been looking great since coming back from injury. You've been down on him for the last 2 years, but he was amazing in 2019-20. You even said he's our best player. Yeah, I mean, back then he was, but he was looking down. And again, he played very well today outside of the interception and then the pass out of bounds in the end zone on second and goal. I don't or second and 3, but it was near the goal line in the red zone. Don't understand what that was. I will not understand what that was. But yeah, I mean, Tannehill's definitely looking better. Chill Mode says, ask sports for entertainment and for the love of God, Will Downing please stop throwing the screen to Swaim? Yeah, I agree, especially because Swaim is not athletic at all, literally at all. So I don't know why we continue to run that. Doesn't really make much sense to me. Doesn't really make much sense to me. But we continue to run that. All right, so we return to the poll. Do you think that the play calling was improved with the Titans tonight? Okay, 77% of the audience says yes, that they do believe that the play calling was improved tonight for the Tennessee Titans. So, okay, that's what people believe. I think it was the same. I think the offense flowed better. I think Burks definitely invigorated this offense with his presence, with his athletic ability, his ability to run. And I think that presented problems for the Packers in play action that they weren't ready for. I think their linebackers are terrible. I think Quay Walker's a rookie and he makes rookie mistakes. But I think you have to like the improvement. I think you have to like what you saw. Josh Martin says, as sport for entertainment, do you think Rodgers is close to being done with football? Absolutely. I think he has 1 or 2 years left. I mean, he's even said this specifically. And I think he's kind of over it. He's kind of over trying to like ring chase as well. He's kind of over the expectations for him to compete and win a Super Bowl every year. He should have had another one, at least another Super Bowl performance. It's a shame that he didn't. And I think he's just an old, curmudgeon old man at this point. I understand it's very frustrating. Like, you expect your wide receivers to be there, and sometimes they're not, but they're young wide receivers, and he should be a better leader than that. But to be honest with you, and I'm not going to get hella personal. I don't know him personally, but from everything you've heard, that's just not the type of guy that he is. He's estranged from his family. He has a new girlfriend every year. He's unable to sustain long-term relationships or friendships with his family or anyone around him. So, yeah. Sometimes that doesn't bode well. But whatever he does after football, I wish him well. If he wants to, work at Fox, I'm sure they'll have him. If he wants to go fishing and do ayahuasca with Joe Rogan and, attack ivermectin, I'm sure he'll do that. I'm sure he'll do whatever he wants to do. Trilogy Taylor says, that sports for entertainment, it was better because it worked. I suppose so. I would have to see continued progress on that before I would agree. But I suppose that's a fair opinion there. I suppose. How long have we been going now? I think I've been going for almost an hour. So we're going to wrap it up soon, guys. Get your last minute comments in at Sports Fan Entertainment. Then we're going to get out of here because it is indeed a work night. And I do have to work tomorrow. Or for some of you, a school night. Because my audience does range in age. Although you can always return to school whenever you want. Don't ever let age stop you from doing that. No matter what the haters might say. And they will say a lot. I guarantee you of that. And looks like we're about done. The chat slowed down. So, yeah, let's go and end it here before we hit the hour mark. All right, so this has been Sports Fan Entertainment. The Tennessee Titans defeat the Green Bay Packers 27-17. They move on to 7-3, and maybe at last. It's crazy. The Titans, I've seen them outside of top 10 power rankings all season long. They were the number 1 seed in the AFC last year. They've been a top 10 team in the NFL. And now finally they might get the damn respect that they deserve. And it's crazy enough. Right now they sit. And even after Sunday, even if they win, they will sit. with a better record than the beloved Buffalo Bills. And that I love to say. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment. Oh, that's not true of the Bills on Sunday. I take that back. But until next time, this has been Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.